All right. Well, welcome to Our Generation with Melissa Shaw, where we educate, empower, and inspire. And this is a long time coming,
Yes.
having Miss Kim on, just to really let her share her story and the mission that she is behind. And so we'll just go ahead and turn it over to you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
But first of all, I want to say thank you, Melissa, for having me
Yes.
here to be able to let families know and parents know that, your voice is very important when it comes to education. And so I'm a mother. I have a husband. I've worked in the schools from the townships to charter for over 20 years. And so I just saw a need for parents knowing that they needed a voice. And then from working in the schools and seeing parents come to the school and sometimes leaving the school without getting issues rectified or knowing how to get them rectified, not knowing the resources that the schools have. And that's what brought me to the work.
Yeah.
That our families really need to understand that when your children in the school, it's a partnership.
Absolutely.
It's clearly a partnership.
Yeah.
And so with Empower Families taking over this role, been very excited to work with schools and work with families all over, besides Marion County, help families in Franklin Township, Avon, so all over that are reaching out to let parents know that you can go into the school and advocate for yourself. So with Empower Families, we're about advocating parent voice, school voice, partnership.
I love
That's the
that.
key. That's
So
the
how
key.
long has Empower Families been in existence?
In 5 years.
Okay.
I want to say 5 years. This is my second year, so I'm
Okay.
very excited. Came in and just started working with families and schools. Just letting people understand that parents care about their child's education. I haven't met a parent yet that doesn't care. They might not know how to go to the school to advocate,
Right.
but that's where Empower Families comes in hands to help support.
Yeah. What's the Empower Families mission?
So the mission is to empower families, to empower families to have a voice, to know that high quality schools and equity. And so we want parents to know that is what our mission is, to empower parents.
What are some things that you guys offer?
So with Empower Families, I hold mostly monthly meetings all over the city. I've partnered with different community centers. So Success Center, I'll be having a meeting coming up, cafe. And so what we do is bring different meetings to the community. So special education is a big hot topic in the community. So I'm bringing in the specialists to the families that let them know what their rights are, what they can ask for. And then we did show me the data. As we see the I-read data and literacy, our children aren't doing very well, but you're sending a letter to the parents that don't even know how to read the letters. Receive a letter, pass, fail. This area they're lacking. So we had somebody come in and explain and go over the letter with the families to let them know this is what you can go in and ask for, if your child needs an intervention. We also brought in mental health. We've done mental health meetings, so I bring in specialists that can talk about how to handle mental health because, especially in our community, there's a stigma, and we want to change that. And we're seeing kids these days suffering, but then you have the parents too, and how you work together. So the different resources I bring also will be offering a scholarship if you live in the center township for parents, families, anybody, where you can receive up to $5,000 grant. And so what the grant has to do with is reading, literacy, and writing. And so we gave a family last year, a mother wanted to build a library in her house for her children. We gave her some money. We had another person who wanted to do a mobile library in her car, going to the different apartment complexes to give the kids books. So we want people to be very innovative in what they're doing, but we want the families to know that there are so many different resources out here.
Yeah, I love that. I love books. I love coffee shops. I want to be able to put them two together, or like tea, just because I feel like that's just kind of a I don't know. I think that's my comfort. Like I always, if you read the book, The Four Agreements,
No. Mm-mm.
they're gonna have to cut me a check because I literally mention this book almost on every episode. It is
Okay.
a powerful book. It's even be a good book to even offer the parents and some of the kids that you, because it really gives like the four agreements. So one, I'll see if I can remember all of them. One is to not take things personal, be impeccable with your word, do your best. And we think that those things are so easy to do, but when you've been conditioned by how you've been raised in an environment,
Yes.
plays a huge effect on how you become a person.
Yes.
And that book really talks about that. So it's a really, really good book. Like I said, I want to have like copies that I can just give people every time I see them.
Well, they do need to cut you a check.
They do, they do.
Because I'm going to have to get that book. Anything that can empower parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because nowadays, I don't even say parents because we have grandparents raising children. We
Mm-hmm.
have great grandparents now
Mm-hmm.
raising children. So it's a community. And so
Mm-hmm.
if you haven't been in school as a grandpa or great grandparent for 40 years,
My goodness, when my daughter went to school, I said, "What is this math? Like, don't ask me, because we're gonna be here all night."
right. And so then what do we do? How do we support
Mm-hmm.
those families? And so with Empower Families, that's one of the pieces that we want to do
Nice.
to let them know that, hey, we're out here to help you,
Mm-hmm.
and even with the schools,
Yeah. So how does it work with you going into schools?
So parents have reached out to us and say, hey, we need you at the school.
Mm.
Also, we reach out to different leaders to say that we would love to come and work with your parents. A lot of schools think family engagement is families coming for carnival night. You have the
Mm.
whole school, but then literacy night, you only have 50 parents show up out of 500. You don't have community engagement. You don't have family engagement at the school.
Mm-mm.
What we do is, as we're presenting what we do at the schools, we show up to a family event. And so we have a table set up. And as I'm talking to parents, I say, what do you think about leading the group? So the school is not picking who's going to be in charge of the parent group. We are not the PTA. We are not there to sell popcorn.
Right.
Okay, we are there for the parents. And so once we identify 4 to 5 parents at the school, we bring them in and train them.
Nice.
And so then those parents are going to be the ones to run the parent group. We will be there to support. I will be there to support. And so then, and of course, I run the names by the school leaders like, hey, these parents are interested. And I tell schools, your loudest parents are the ones you want to have work with you also because they know how to get everything to everybody in the school, And so then when we bring them in for the training, we might say, there are certain issues that you might think need to be addressed at the school. And so we'll only pick 3 because you can't address everything
Right.
at once. And so then we'll hold a parent meeting. Their job is to bring the parents to the school. And then we sit down and talk about how can we work with the school. The school has agreed for you all to be here. A lot of parents feel that they're not allowed in the school or they can't come to the school. But we've already talked to the school leaders. This is what we will be doing.
I remember when my daughter, what grade was she in? I think she was in junior high, and it was like I couldn't even just walk. I said I want to be able to walk up in and look in her class, and she not know I'm there, or I don't even want the teacher to know I'm there. I remember when she was in elementary, that she was born in 2005. Like I could literally walk into the school and
Right.
I'll be right there looking inside, and she turned around like, "Oh snap! My mama's right there." Yeah, because what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, you don't have that, but I get why, because of the safety now. Trying to make sure the kids are safe. You can't just let everybody come in. Um, but I also feel like they need to make it a space of welcoming for the parents.
Yes.
Because if you do have parents that want to come in and be involved, like let them, if you see them, don't make them feel like they're
right,
not welcome or they're a problem. But a lot of times I feel like you feel like that because you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing. Or you're responding to the kids in a negative way, and you don't want me to catch you doing that.
Right. And so with that, I had a parent call me yesterday. Hasn't heard from the teacher. Parent, they had back to school night. She couldn't make it. Schools have to understand parents' work. And when you're hosting events, don't host events at 4 and 5 o'clock. Parents are at work.
Mm-hmm.
I was a working parent. I wouldn't be able to come. So then you're looking at me like I am a bad parent.
Yeah, that
No,
I'm not involved.
I am a working
Yeah.
parent. And so with Empower Families, our meetings are always after 6 o'clock because I
Mm-hmm.
want to respect the parents' time. We even had a parent say, "Well, you need to do it at 6:30 now." We started laughing. I said, "Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to meet the parents where they are."
That part.
And so schools need to understand, yes, it is a safety part, but when I was in the school, I was the person that the parents got in contact. You could do a pop-up visit. And the pop-up visit, you weren't allowed to talk to the teachers. Designate a person at the school. I
Mm-hmm.
know everybody's busy. We were busy at the school I was at. But that's the relationships that you build with the school. And the teachers need to build the relationship. Don't let your first or second contact be a bad phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you keep calling a parent and then when they finally explode and they come
Mm-hmm.
to the school, now you have a situation here which could have been
Absolutely.
avoided.
Mm-hmm.
Make a good phone call. The school we were in, the teachers were required to make positive phone calls every week. I tell parents and I'll tell schools, if my child is sitting in your building, I want to be able to come and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think you're hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you hiding?
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell parents and schools that the community knows what's happening in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, schools, you're not hiding anything
Right.
because people are talking.
Mm-hmm.
I am all over, and so I can tell what's happening in every school just
Mm-hmm.
because I'm in the community and parents are telling me, and so giving advice. And we have a lot of great schools. Nobody wants to be a bad school.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
But you need to also understand your parents are the partnership in the school
Yeah.
with you also.
And I feel like I was when my daughter was in kindergarten and throughout most of her elementary, like I was very involved.
Yes.
I volunteered. I was at the school. They knew me, and I feel like if they were to open it up even more so and let the parents come in,
Yes.
then you say you don't have time to give these kids the attention they need. But if you bring the engagement of the parents in, then you are going to have time. Let the parents work with other kids that they're coming in for free. Like, it just, if you allow that, then that will help take off the burden of the teachers, which a lot of times is why sometimes they act the way they do because they're overworked.
Yes. And so then with Empower Families, so now you're getting your core parents that have been coming to their monthly meetings that want to be involved. And you might say, okay, we would like the group maybe to come and volunteer to read to the kindergartners,
Mm-hmm.
once a week, or come and support with homework. These are parents
Mm-hmm.
that have been dedicated and
Mm-hmm.
committed to your school.
Yeah.
The partnership is there. You're also meeting and learning the parents,
Mm-hmm.
and you're saying, hey, they do want to be involved.
Yeah.
That's what Empower Families is wanting to do with the school, to let them know, we have parents that want to be
Yeah.
involved,
I love that.
And even you have language barriers now.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the people that can really work with those families, you have parents.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming to the monthly meetings.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be involved. They can be your translator.
Mm-hmm.
We have to start thinking innovative ways on
Mm-hmm.
how we're going to engage the parents.
Yeah.
With the Empower Families, that is what we are trying to do.
I love that.
What we will do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what has been like a huge win for you since you've been in the role you're in?
Huge role is I'm in 6 schools now. 6 schools. Very
Nice.
excited.
Nice.
When schools hear the word advocate, they get very nervous
Mm-hmm.
because we are also teaching parents how to advocate, but I look as we're just teaching parents how to speak up and ask for what they need for their child.
Which is a good thing
Definitely a good thing.
because then it helps the home life too.
Yes.
It even helps them at home be able to handle different things with the kids.
Yes.
So it helps with behavior. Like it when you look at the bigger picture, like it helps all the way around.
Exactly, because when I was in the school, the students always knew. I just had to put my hand up because they knew what that meant. I'm going to call home. I didn't have to say anything. Right. Be looking through the window.
Right.
and so they knew I was going to make that phone call.
Hmm.
But I had relationships with all those families in this school.
And you have relationships with the kids. Like
Yes,
I had relationships with my daughter's friends,
yes,
and they respected me. They adored me. And when I'll be in there, and I'll be like, "What? Y'all better be quiet." And they'll sit there like, so I'm helping the teachers
yes.
keep order by my presence being there. It
Mhm,
just,
mhm.
yeah, they don't understand.
No, they really don't, because my son and his friends, they would come to the house, and so I could hear them, go tell your mom, go tell your mom, you know,
Yep.
she can go to school, and
Yeah.
so then I said, okay, and they would come out and give me a whole speech on what's
Mhm.
going on. But, when I went to the school, we had an incident with my son, and so the first thing said, do you have a appointment with the principal? I said, no. They said, we need to make one. I said, I'll sit here.
Mm.
So I got to meet with the principal. The principal brought the teacher down. End of the year, the principal called me and said that was the best move we could have made.
Mm.
And I said, thank you for listening to me.
Mhm.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I
Mhm.
want families to know this is how you can go to the school and get things accomplished.
Yeah.
I tell, schools and administrators all the time, I had to bump heads with my administrator because she was like, just tell them we'll call back in 24 to 48 hours. I said, why would you let a parent or somebody sit at home and their blood pressure goes up? So when they do walk in the school, they're already up here.
Yep, they're on 10.
Okay, and we got to bring them down. And so I
Mhm.
have to tell you guys step outside, and I need to come back in a different way.
Yeah.
Just acknowledge. And so, as my
Mhm.
role, that's what I did. I would make the phone call, tell me what happened,
Mhm.
and then I would go and see what happened in the school, in the classroom, or and I would go into a classroom too. I got a call from 5 different parents. It was just one parent,
Mm.
to find out what was going on. But
Mhm.
those are the relationships,
Mhm.
even with the teachers. I told them, I said, um, make sure whatever you say to that child, you can say it with the parents standing
I
there.
know that's right. I know that's right.
Make
Because I remember my daughter was in high school and I had to get with them and I taught my daughter to express herself. So
right.
she advocated for herself.
Yes.
They didn't know how to handle that because they took it as disrespect.
Yes.
Now, could she have been a little tempered? I mean, she's a teenager, so it's gonna come out as raw as it ever.
Right. Right.
But you have to understand that if she sees that you're treating her differently and she doesn't like it, she has the right to say what you're doing.
Mhm.
And they would, in the beginning, they would push back, but towards the end, they appreciated that she did that.
Yeah.
And I
And
was always there. I remember we had this one meeting, and I'm just sitting there and I'm letting her talk. And they're the principal, and I forget someone else that was there, and they asked me a question. I said, no, she can handle it. This is a learning lesson for
yes.
her
Yes.
that I'm going to support her. And now when we get home, I might critique a little bit,
Mhm.
but she needs to know that she can speak up for herself, and adults cannot quiet you
Right.
like they try to quiet adults. You can't quiet a child.
Right. Right. And that's one thing that I taught my sons and the students I work with. You know, advocate for yourself, and there's a way to advocate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not being disrespectful. I understand you have frustrations. I
Mm-hmm.
understand the situation. You see it one way, somebody else sees it another, but how are we going to come together,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to work that situation out?
I
And
always say, what's the solution? Because we can go back and forth on opinions all day long, but what are we gonna do with it?
and that's what one thing I tell you as I
Yeah.
talk to the school leaders, I said, I'm going to listen to the problems for about 15 minutes, but then we're going to stop. What are the solutions?
Mm-hmm.
We're not coming to the school to hear everything that is wrong. I already know.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that we will work together to address and to make sure things are working out smoothly.
Yeah.
And even students, I had a youth advocate, and he was out here
I
speaking
love
and,
that.
speaking up. And, as we were going and speaking to different groups and meeting people, he got to voice his opinion.
And that's important
Yes,
because most kids don't feel like they're seen and heard.
right, right. And so, and explaining to teachers too, bullying is another one meeting we brought. And so I made it very clear it was a zero tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to make the teachers understand zero tolerance also.
Mm-hmm.
If a child comes and tells you, do not just push them to the side, because you never know when that child leaves what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
As we're seeing suicide rates go up,
Oh, a lot, yeah.
that the child might just have to tell you something,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was very, very strict on that,
For you.
and even with my kids, you don't know where a person is. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know what's happened the day before. You don't know what's happening today. You don't know if they didn't have any food. You don't know if there was, fighting at the house. You just don't know,
Mm-hmm.
because kids are, and parents and, family members will have a smile on their face and could be hurting inside.
Absolutely.
And just one word could trigger it.
Yep.
So,
And they don't even know what that word is. It could just happen, and it's a wrap.
right, right. So, with Empower Families, that's what we want to do with the parents and the students that we work with. Understand you do have a voice.
Yeah.
There's power in your voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how you use your voice.
Mm-hmm. So being in 6 schools, so what is your goal for this upcoming school year? So school year started. It's been what, about a month since school started for most of them?
Yes. So, right, this month and next month, we are now meeting with the parent groups. So 2 weeks ago, I had training for all the parent leads. So that's what we do first. And so then to let them know what a parent meeting will look like, what is their role, as a parent leader, they are going to be bringing the parents to the school and working together on whatever they decide to work on in the school. So if
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain issue, the one thing I'm hearing, and we heard from everybody, is communication from the school. That's the biggest. So I said, as I was talking to them, I said it's three forms of communication, and I tell school leaders that too. Today I was at a workshop and I said it's three forms. You might have to text, you might have to do a robocall, you might have to send an email or the teacher call. You cannot depend on just the system that you have going to the parents,
Mm-hmm.
and you wonder why you don't have parents showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the parent leads, that one of the goals is to get the parents to come. If the school's going to have a literacy night, the Empower Families parent group at the school, hey, we need you to get the parents here. This is going to be very serious what they have to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is one of the goals. We've had the school say we want more parent involvement. You know, we think we have it, until they don't show up,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have to say, okay, let's do it a different way.
Yeah.
And so that is one of the goals, for the parents, to have more parent involvement, but then also from the school to allow the parents to be involved,
Yeah.
allow the parents to be involved. And there are different barriers, with parents coming into the schools, or um, I tell schools, make sure your staff knows the community your kids are coming from. You got to put them on a bus and take a ride through the community. Hey, that's where the kids go, the Boys and Girls Club. They go over here for tutoring at the church. They go over here so they can understand where their kids are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
We have too many people, want to come in but don't want to do the work,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that,
Or they think they know what they need, but you don't even know where they're from, so you can't even relate to what they
right.
need because you're about to drive over to Noblesville.
Exactly. you know.
I'll say it, so you have no idea.
You don't know if that kid didn't eat. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I used to say, when I was speaking to teachers, I would hear them, or hear people discuss parents or different things. I said, well, I'm that parent you're talking about, because I was working those two jobs,
Mm-hmm.
coming home and going to another job at night, not getting home till 10 o'clock. I always
Mm-hmm.
laugh. We were at McDonald's at 10:30. Might be doing homework at 11.
Mm-hmm.
And
And you wonder why my child's tired in the morning. Show them some grace.
yes,
But
and
if you don't have conversations in that relationship, you'll never know that.
Correct. And I had a great relationship. My son was in kindergarten. The teacher called me. He said he fell asleep. He said, "But Kim, he told me you're working." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'll get him in bed." He goes, "Well, I don't need him falling asleep." And I asked him what time he went to bed. And, of course, you asked the question, what was on TV? And I was so embarrassed. I said, "Okay." I said, "Oh my goodness, what did he say?" And so he just started laughing and said, "No, I understand." But the teacher took the time out to call me. Yes, my son fell asleep, but I addressed it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "But I knew you were at work last night because you told me." How many more parents and families are out there like I was?
Oh, absolutely.
Like I was.
Especially now, like things have gone up and wages hasn't gone up with it.
Right, right. And he had an older sibling, so he was home with the older sibling.
Yeah.
And I look at, and have conversations saying, you know, older siblings do have to babysit.
Mhm.
Okay, older siblings might have to do the homework.
Mhm.
Um, when I would speak with parents having meetings because they're not bringing in their homework, I said, "Well, I'm gonna give you a discussion that I had, with mine." I said, "We're gonna make a plan. We're gonna put a plan in place. Put the homework on your mother's pillow. Whatever you need signed on her pillow, because she has to lay her head down, and then mom will sign it. If you come to school and say, 'My mom forgot,' my first question, was it on her pillow?"
I love that.
Was it on her pillow?
Right.
And so the parent and, the child and teacher, we work that out.
Mhm.
We just have to be realistic
Mhm.
what our children are going through in their lives. We
Mhm.
have a lot of parents not doing 9 to 5. And so that's why I always say, "Well, I'm that parent you're talking about. Am I a bad parent?"
Yeah.
Well, no, no, no. Am I a bad parent?
Right.
Because I'm that parent you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so that's why with working at the schools and working with Empower Families, just kind of opening their eyes that all families have different situations.
Mhm.
It's just how we address the situation
Yeah.
and how we're going to work with the situation.
Yeah. I love it. I love what you do. I love the organization.
Oh, thank you.
Especially, where did we meet at?
We met at an event.
I I meet everybody at an event. I don't even remember where it was at, but yeah. So I'm definitely glad we crossed paths, and I'm glad that I'm able to help. Use my platform to get out. The work that you all do. How can we support you guys?
So you can go to our website, Empower Families. My email is Kgraham at empowerfamiliesindy.org. The phone number is on our website too. We can help, or I choose to help everybody, because I just think families um, need to be supported. I
Mm-hmm.
am also looking for people that just want to come and help advocate, just to support the families because it's going to take a village. We can't
Mm-hmm.
do it by ourselves, working with different organizations. If I can't help a family with the issue, if I know another organization, I will refer them.
Yeah.
I believe in that. It's
Yeah.
a village.
Definitely.
I'm not going to hold my secrets to myself.
Yeah. No.
And so
What do you work all the way up to high school?
yes.
Okay.
So we are K to 12.
Okay.
Yeah, K to 12. We have a newsletter that comes out every month. It'll be out in 2 weeks. It usually comes out the last week of the month. I highlight schools. I also highlight the different topics that we did for the month. I also showcase the different community centers we have been in. And then always looking for people to come and advocate with us. So if you go to our website, you'll be able to see all the work that we do.
Yeah.
And just very excited that, and I thank you for this platform
Absolutely.
because the voice is very important. Parent
Mhm.
voice is very important. The partnership is the most important between schools and parents. And good schools have great parent groups. Failing schools do, they don't have parent involvement.
Yeah.
It's a fact. The statistics are out there.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people that all the time. True engagement are the families that are showing up for literacy night, not the carnival night.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Well, would you like to share any parting words?
Parting words, I would say, parents, teachers, schools, let's come together and work together. The children are our future.
Mm-hmm.
You just think 20 years from
Run that
now.
damn Warwick song. I
I
remember
didn't even.
random stuff.
You sure do, because I didn't know.
Don't quote me, somebody. If you posted that down below, if I was right or wrong, but I feel like "We Are the World." I know there's a song that Michael
There
Jackson,
is, there
but
is.
I feel like I don't even know where her name came from.
And I just want to tell parents it's okay to go to the school and advocate.
Yeah.
It's okay to use your voice. There are
Mm-hmm.
resources out here.
Mm-hmm.
Families, parents, never feel you're by yourself. You're alone in the journey of your child's education.
Yeah.
And we're talking the journeys beginning at preschool
Mm-hmm.
all the way up to high school and then to college or trade or military, whatever they decide to do. But we want to make sure the kids, as they go into the world, they can read, they can write, they can pick up a check. They can open a bank account.
Absolutely.
They can buy a home.
Yeah.
They can come back and give back to the community. I believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the community, you might leave the community, but you're coming back to the community.
Yeah.
That's the important piece. You are giving back.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're never too busy. And, I might get in trouble saying this. You're never too busy to come back and help somebody in the community.
Yeah.
Even if you're coming back once a month
Mm-hmm.
to support a girl or a young man, because we need positive role models.
Yeah.
And these times are very difficult. And so I just say to the community, everybody that's watching, I'm always looking for people to come and help support Empower Families and help the families, help the students, and help the schools so we can make a difference.
Yeah.
So we can make a difference.
I love that, and share this video with a family that may need help. You may be good in your school, but if you know someone, share it so that others can get that same assistance. So thank you again for coming, and I look forward to having you back 6 months to a year to kind of see how things have progressed.
And I can't wait to come back to tell you all the different changes.
Yes, and how many schools you're in, and
yes, how many schools, the parents, the support.
Yeah.
I just want to say I had a parent meeting 2 weeks ago, and the mother had called me on Friday in tears. Something was happening to school, so I helped her. And she showed up to the parent meeting, and I was running to another meeting, and she just said, can I say something? I said, yes. And she said, well, I'm who you helped. I'm not going to give her name.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my goodness. She said to everybody, she said, that one right there, pointing at me, she said, she will help you. She's for real. She will do what it takes. She said, Tuesday, I was at the school and got everything accomplished.
Wow.
And I had to go and give her a hug,
Absolutely.
because touching lives in so many different ways, with the phone calls, just to say thank you, and listening, how can I support you?
Yeah.
And so those are the rewards.
Absolutely.
That's the blessing that's coming back.
Yeah.
Touching people's lives and helping to support them.
There's no currency out there that can replace that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You could stack $1 million there. That's not gonna. I'm not gonna get the same feeling from seeing that $1 million with what I get when I see someone that's truly impacted by what's been done.
And that's the work that you do.
Yeah.
I follow you. I watch everything you're doing in the community. And you're doing a lot of great things too, because you're opening the doors for people who the doors would never open for.
Yeah.
And I think it takes people like that to pick somebody up and say, hey, let me support you. Let me put you in front of those people.
That part.
And
because I know I don't have everything, I don't have all the answers, but I network so much, it doesn't make sense for me to not connect. If you say something, and that's one thing I loved, I'm learning that my podcast really helps me to listen intentionally to people, because when I do that, then I'm like, oh, I need you. Because right now, like, I want to connect you with Broganville Farm. Are you familiar with them?
No, I'm not.
There's a farm. It's a black-owned farm out here off of 30th and Mid Hartford.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That would be a great resource for you guys to have.
Yes.
just to do some things out there. You
Mhm.
know, bring back that nature with the community. So yeah, so there'll be that's a good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to reach out.
Yep, I'll connect you guys.
Okay, good. Because there you go. Our families can learn to go get food right off the farm. That's the
Mm,
best.
yeah, and so the guy that did my herbal, so I connected him with
Oh
Brokenville, and
wow.
now they actually have a garden out there that they grow stuff.
Oh wow.
They're having an event, a canning class, a week
Okay.
from this Saturday. I'll send you the information,
Please
and
do.
then in the evening they're doing yoga at the farm. So
Okay.
even being able to provide those resources for parents,
Right.
because
Right.
they have to be able to keep themselves good
Yes.
to be able to offer the goodness to their kids.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
didn't come out the way, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Because like even when my daughter struggled with mental health, like it was during the time that I was. So how if I'm not together,
How it.
how am I supposed to support her?
Right.
And it can be very frustrating. And then that's where the village comes in. So if
Yes.
I'm lacking, somebody can come in and fill in that
Yes.
until I'm able to, do what I need to do.
Yes. And the one thing is, I speak with moms, and we want to. Dads aren't in the home, and we want to use that as an excuse. But let's expand the village
Mm-hmm.
to maybe have an uncle, a
Mm-hmm.
grandfather, a friend, someone from the church, someone from the
Mm-hmm.
community to help mentor that young man. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I tell moms too, don't tell your sons are the man of the house. I would
Mm-hmm.
say to the young men in the class, I would say, are you paying the bills? Are you driving? I said, you're not the man of the house. Because when moms want to bring in a man to the house,
Oh yeah.
you bump heads.
Mm-hmm.
You bump heads. So, and I have all sons, and
Mm.
so my mom heard me and my one son going toe to toe, and so she's like, he's not your husband, he's your son.
Mm.
And I just took that with me, and I took it as I move in the community and
Mm.
speak with mothers to let them know, because it's very difficult, especially for a young man when another man comes into that role, but he's been running your house.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wonder why
Right.
they're bumping heads. You're wondering why. So, and moms, and dads, you have the issues. So let's find somebody, even for these girls nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
we have to address what's happening with our young ladies. And if you can't do it, let's find the mentoring groups.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find somebody that can,
And help you to be okay with that. That
yes,
doesn't mean you're a bad mother.
no, no,
You have a lot on your plate
yes.
and you need that support. It's all about that support.
Yes, it is. And everybody needs support. If
Yeah.
somebody tells me they don't need it, I don't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe you.
Yeah,
Everybody needs support.
absolutely.
And if issues are going on at home, what do you think is going to happen at the school?
Oh, absolutely.
So we got to work together. Schools, let's work with the parents.
Yeah,
Let me make that clear. Schools, let's work with the parents.
yeah.
Whatever we can do to help support that,
Mm-hmm.
we're willing to come in to help support.
I love that.
Well,
Well,
thank
thank you.
you.
Thank you again. So this has been Melissa Shaw with Our Generation, where we educate, empower, and inspire. Make sure you check out the website. I'll post it below, and her email address so you guys get in contact with her. And please support.
Please,
We are out.
thank you.
Turn it on.